Marvel movies, I've probably rewatched the first Guardians movie more than any other movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I guess I just like space adventure flicks with buff dudes, green chicks, and talking trees. Don't judge me. And by the way, if you're watching this video, I would assume that you like movies. And if you want to test your movie knowledge, you can download this free app called Popcorn Trivia. I actually drove 2 hours to attend an early screening of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's how bad I wanted to see the movie. And during that road trip, I played Popcorn Trivia to test my movie knowledge and to make myself feel better about who I am and what I'm doing by getting movie trivia questions right. So if you want to do the same thing, link down below. Boop. Now let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I really hate giving the plot to a movie, so here it goes as quickly as possible. The Guardians meet up with Star-Lord's father, played by Kurt Russell, aka Snake Plissken, after being chased by a race of golden aliens who look like Academy Award statues. And then some other stuff happens. And since this movie is a sequel, let's answer the biggest question: is this movie better than the first movie? Well, yes and no, and let me explain that. From a storytelling perspective, the first movie had a more simplistic and solid script. It had a better story. So in terms of that, the first movie would technically be a better movie. But in terms of blockbuster movie entertainment value, that was a tongue twister. Blockbuster movie entertainment value. But if you're going to judge a movie by how many great moments it has that will make audiences cheer, laugh, or go, aww, whenever Baby Groot does anything in this movie, I would say this sequel is the better movie. And by the way, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm a dude, and for the last 2 years, we've been seeing all these images and toys of little Baby Groot, and I was getting sick and tired of it. I was like, I'm tired of looking at Baby Groot. And then I watched this movie, and Baby Groot, he's adorable, he's precious, and as one character in this movie says, he's too cute to kill. And that really says something about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This movie features a little talking twig, and it makes you care about that little talking twig. And not only that, you want to pick it up, you want to hold it, you want to hug it, and you want to put it in your pocket. Just me? Okay, let's move on. In all seriousness, when a movie can do that, that says something about the character development of that movie. Because in this movie, it features tons of characters, old and new. You have one of the most likable actors working today, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. You have the ex-baby-oiled badass wrestler, Bautista as Drax the Destroyer. You have Zoe Saldana, who used to be a blue alien, and now she's a green alien. And the movie also features a wise-ass talking raccoon and a talking tree. And the thing that's so impressive about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is it balances all these characters. Every character in this movie stands out, every character has their moment, and every character in this film has a story within this movie. Now within the movie, some characters have more to do than others, and even a lot of the minor supporting characters in the film have memorable scenes that stand out. And speaking of memorable moments, there's a handful of scenes that really stood out when I was watching this movie. There's a really cute and precious opening scene featuring Baby Groot, where the audience just goes ooh and ah the entire time, and I was one of them. And once again, since this is a sequel, it's only fair to compare it to the original film. If you liked the style and the raunchy comedy and the action sequences in the first Guardians movie, in Volume 2, it gives you all that same stuff, but more of it. Now let's talk about the comedy in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. As far as the raunchiness goes, this is probably the most raunchy movie in the entire cinematic universe of Marvel. Now these are Marvel/Disney movies, and there were a few jokes in this movie I was surprised they got away with, seeing how it's Disney. For example, Drax the Destroyer makes a penis joke, and I liked it. He also makes a turd joke. Now, one of the biggest newest characters in this movie is Star-Lord's father, played by Kurt Russell, and I've always been a huge fan of Kurt Russell. I love Escape from New York. I even love Overboard. Have you ever seen that? It's not that good, but I like it. And I thought Kurt Russell was perfectly cast as Star-Lord's father, and I liked the role that he played in the movie. And as far as his character's backstory goes and his motivations for doing what he's doing in this movie, I thought the movie did a really good job of explaining that and setting it up to make me believe in it. Now, before I talk about my favorite character in this film, I would say I really enjoyed all the characters in this movie. The only character I didn't really care about or connect with was the character of Nebula, who was in the first movie. She's the daughter of Thanos, and essentially her character was only in this movie to give Gamora something to do, some kind of conflict. So there's that. So who is my favorite character in Guardians Volume 2? It's the character of Yondu, played by Michael Rooker. Is it Rooker or Rooker? Either way.
What's that?
He says, welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy.
And in this sequel, Yondu is heavily featured throughout the entire movie. At one point, it almost becomes a Yondu movie, and I really dug that. And I would say as far as character arcs go, Yondu has the biggest character arc throughout this entire movie. And one of the other things I really enjoyed about Volume 2 was it answered questions that the first movie asked. This movie could have easily ignored all of those things that happened in the first movie that we didn't know the answers to, but in this movie they answer those things and it makes sense and it ties into the story to make it a better story and it elevates the characters at the same time. It sounds like I'm praising this movie, but the more I think about it, the more I like it. Now, very quickly, before everyone says I'm fanboying out about the movie down below in the comment section, let's talk about the negatives and the things I didn't like about the movie. For nearly the first half of this movie, it struggles to develop a story or even let you know what the movie's about. And then at the halfway point in the movie, you sort of figure it out. And then at times throughout this movie, it just feels like one big action sequence and then another action sequence, and in between those, you just have some little random comedy moment. So at times the movie does get a little bit messy with its storytelling. And as far as some of the antagonists in the film, the gold people, I don't even know what they're called. Every scene that they were in, I just didn't care about anything that they were doing or saying. I was just like, why are they here? Oh yeah, that's right, to help carry the plot along. So here are my final flicking thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. In terms of entertainment value, this movie gave me everything that the first movie did and more. And also, one of my favorite things about this movie is it has great character motivation. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a scene in this movie where the villain of the movie says something very dubious to Chris Pratt's character and it pisses him off. And I love things like that. I like character motivation. I like when a character's down and out and he rises up. It just gives me goosebumps all over. So this movie has one of those great sequences in it. And also there's a dude in this movie named Taserface. So I'm going to give this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, an A-. I liked it more than I thought I would. Alright, that's my take on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now here's my question for you and let me know down below. What did you think about the movie and which movie did you like more, the first one or the second one? Or what is your favorite Marvel movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Yeah, let me know that down below. Okay, let me scoot my chair over so I can talk about a really cool app. Oh, and by the way, there's about 29 after credit scenes in this movie. So yeah, stick around after the movie. Look at the biceps on that popcorn bucket. I love it. So like I said, Popcorn Trivia is a free to download app where you can answer movie questions about every single movie that you can possibly think of. By the way, I got a 100% on my American Psycho trivia questions. I'm kind of proud of myself. And if you're still in the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, well, you can answer trivia questions about the first Guardians of the Galaxy or the second movie. It's a fun app, I use it, and the coolest thing is you can play solo or you can go up against other people who have the app and battle to see who's smarter about movies. As always, guys, thanks for watching. All the links are down below. And by the way, everyone who joined me on Patreon over the last couple of days, I really do appreciate it. And before you go, make sure you subscribe. That way, I can see you next time.